am Chris. Welcome to my basement gym yet again. This morning we'll be practicing yoga together. I have my block and my strap, and I do have two mats. I have a very hard floor. This is my cement floor in my basement. So I have two mats. If that's something that you need, feel free to grab that. You can always lay a towel with a mat underneath it. That can provide a little padding, or maybe you're on some nice soft cushy carpeting, whatever works for you. We're going to start our practice today. So let's come to standing. Let's find ourselves in a nice, gentle mountain pose, okay? Feel free. You may let the big toes touch, heels parallel to outside edges of our feet parallel to one another with some separation within the heels. If that doesn't feel comfortable, then just let your feet be underneath your hips. It's whatever feels good for you. There's no strict rules. There's guidance, suggestions, and you make whatever works for you happen, okay? No right, no wrong, just different. I love saying that because we're all different. We all have different flexibilities. We all have different balance issues, and we all just have different shapes, sizes, and how our bones attach into our hips and our shoulders. So what may be great for one person may not be for another. So find your own way. I find mine. And let's just have some fun together, just unwinding and stretching, okay? Let's first calm our breath. Let's inhale slowly. And exhale slowly. Just to first kind of pay attention to where that breath is going. Is it going high up in our chest? Or are we able to breathe a little lower? I would love for us to teach ourselves a way to breathe into our belly. Kind of like we have a big belt around our waist and we want to breathe in and expand our body to fill in every crevice of that loose belt. That's right beneath our belly button and above our hip creases, just right in here. Let it all fill out equally, just like we're filling up a balloon. And as we exhale, everything falls equally. At this point, if you like, feel free to close your eyes, focusing on your breath. If your balance is a little off and closing your eyes makes it tricky, keep those eyes open. Or you can always sneak over to a wall or have a chair close by to rest your fingertips on. That way you're very aware of your space, even with your eyes closed. Taking our time with our breath, can we count to 4 slowly as we inhale? Pausing for just a moment and exhale, slowly counting to 4. Pausing for a second and inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe you're a little too restless at first to be able to get to the full 4-second count. That's all right. As we get more and more withdrawn into ourselves, pushing out those external thoughts, those stressors, those to-do lists, we may be able to calm ourselves down enough to even drag out our breath longer than that. I think a count of 4 is a good goal. If you go beyond that, wonderful. If you're still striving for it, keep going. You're doing great. Letting our breath help calm, bring focus, bring awareness to the little crevices within our body. Paying attention to maybe we have a stiff, sore shoulder. Maybe our knee is bothering us. Maybe we got a little crook in the neck. Maybe we slept funny. Let's pay attention to those areas today. Maybe stretch a little more. Maybe soften something so it's not uncomfortable. Keeping in mind, yoga is a practice. And And so that's just what we're going to do, is just practice. Nothing's perfect. If we need to soften a twist or come out of a fold, maybe sitting up a little higher instead of sinking into a pose. Embrace where we are today. Accept what's going on. And rejoice those little successes we have. Focus on those. That's where we draw good energy. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Our weight is in our heels. Our tailbones are tucked under. Our sternums are lifted, shoulder blades pulling down into our imaginary back pockets. Broadening those collarbones. And the crown of the head lifts upward. Let's go through the middle. Elbows close. Open and let the fingertips reach towards the walls. Sit back a little bit, scoop through, and up and open. Inhale. Exhale. Toss it all out. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more times. Inhale through. And exhale. 1 last time. Let's go the opposite direction. We'll sit back, scoop up, pushing our feet through the floor, and draw in. Exhale, pull through. Inhale, scoop, lift. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale 1 last time. Good. Bringing our hands back to heart center. Let's come up through the middle. Open up. Slight upper back expansion. The lower back is long as we lift our sternums, opening up our chest, our heart to the sky. Let's drop our right arm. Left arm reaches towards the sky. Right hand towards the ground. Good. Scoop, lift back to center. As we drop our left arm, right arm lifts up, left hand reaches down. Lengthening the sides of our body. Scoop and lift and drop. Pushing our left leg through the floor as we reach that left arm up. Scoop and lift. Pushing our right foot through the floor as our right arm lifts. 1 last time each side. Wonderful. Both arms lift. Coming into a forward fold, flat back, hinging in our hip joints. Hands come to the top of our thighs, dropping our chin, bending, rounding up 1 vertebrae at a time. Lifting our chin last. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, forward fold. Hands just come to the tops of the thighs. And then round up 1 vertebrae at a time. Lifting our chin last. Again, inhale, lift. Exhale, hinging at our hip joints. Hands just come to the tops of the thighs and round up. Just cat curl up. Hands taking up a lot of space. Oh, 1 more, just because it feels good. Forward fold. Hands to the tops of our thighs. Push through the floor, round up. Let's take the shoulders up and give them a squeeze back and lower. So we're just lifting up, squeeze back and lower. 1 more time. Lift up, squeeze back and lower. Shake them out. Let our sternums be lifted, Our ribs are stitched towards our hips. Broadening those collarbones, we take our shoulder blades and bring them closer together. And that helps broaden those shoulder blades, allowing the hands from palms being here without rotating at my wrist or my elbow. Now my palms face more to the side. That's all because I'm going from this internally rotated position to nice neutral, where I gently squeeze that pencil between my shoulder blades. Sternum's lifted, ribs are stitched, weight is back into my heels. Chin level, ears over my shoulders. Good. Let's look over our right shoulder, and center, and left, and center. 2 more times. Right, and left, and right, and left. Let's pour water out of our ear. And pouring water out of the other ear. 1 more time each side. Good, and dropping chin to chest, and lifting, and chin to chest, and lifting. Good. Let's just put our weight into our left leg. Take that right knee up, open as much as we comfortably can, and then just put the leg down. The limitation of our rotation is actually due to how our hip bones interact with our thigh bones. So don't worry if you can only go so far. Me, I can't go so far. I think it's because my hip bones are a little bit more forward. Right there. Good. Changing legs. We're going to do the same thing. Just warming up the hips, getting them ready for the work today. Snap. 1 more. Good. Stagger your feet if your balance is a little off as we come into toe raises, or heel raise, I should say. We'll do 3 each side. And change. Ball of each foot. Let's lift up our toes, pushing our big toes down, pulling up all our toes, now pushing every other toe down, pulling them all up, big toes, pulling them all up, all the other toes. There we go. Let's put big toes back down and fan out our toes as we prepare for some forward folds. At this point, if you need a block, feel free to grab that block. I'm going to grab the block myself. And I'm going to face the side. The block can be put at many different heights. If you just need a little bit of help, feel free to have it here. You can stack it higher. It's whatever works for you. Everyone's different. Everyone's mobility is a little different. Maybe we're a little tighter today than we were the other day, or maybe we have a little bit more movement. Have it handy. You can always push it aside. Inhale, forward fold, and exhale, hinging at the hip joint, pushing the hips back, and then allowing the back to drape over the thighs. Let's not relax our thigh muscles though. I want us to hug our thigh muscles to the bone, super firm. Pushing all 4 corners of the feet through the mat. Our weight is back into our heels, and our leg muscles are strong. Exhale into our forward fold. Inhale, reversing that fold, pushing through the floor to lift. And hands come back to heart center. Let's do this again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Let's drape over into that forward fold. Give those thigh muscles a good squeeze. Let everything from our waist up just hang. Shake the head out side to side. Good. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling as we reverse our fold. Adding in this time. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Let's inhale, pushing through the floor, using the backs of our legs, coming up halfway to airplane. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and forward fold. Now taking the leg closest to each other, stepping back into a generous lunge. Let's bring our knee down. I'm going to scoot myself. I'm going to center myself a little bit better on my mat. And preparing for crescent as we press back, lift up, and open up our hearts to the sky. Remember, we want to push this hip through. Don't just sit back and let your weight be on your knee. Come forward into a lunge. Feel this delicious blossom of a stretch within the hips. Good. Letting our hands return to the block as we hop up onto our knee and going from crescent to warrior three. Scoop, lift up. This is a modified one because our toe is lifted instead of rotated. Good. And hinging to the block as we step into a forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, reversing that fold. And coming to heart center. Let's do the same thing, other side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, folding. Inhale, halfway up, come to airplane, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And returning to our block. The leg furthest from each other steps back into a generous lunge, lowering the knee for crescent. Inhaling. Exhale, scoop up. Pushing the hip through, feeling a wonderful stretch in the front of our thigh. Exhaling, crescent. Inhale, returning to our blocks as we tuck our toes under and lift our knee as we raise into warrior three. The back leg is straight. Ooh, balance is a little off. Returning to our block, coming forward into forward fold. Exhale. Inhaling as we lift. And returning to heart center. Let's do this one more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lift as we fold. Halfway up, airplane. Folding. Into crescent pose. Into warrior three, modified. Returning to our block, into forward fold, and reversing our fold. Last time, other side. Inhale, lift. Exhaling as we fold. Airplane halfway, and fold. Crescent pose. Modified warrior three. Forward fold. And heart center. Good job. Forward fold. We're going to come to the mat. One at a time, stepping back and lowering the knee. Feel free to remove the block if you don't need it. Feel free to make a wrinkle in the mat to give your wrists or give your knee a little bit of extra padding as we come to quadruped. Let's work a little bit on our spinal mobility. I'm actually going to make a wrinkle for my wrist today. That actually feels quite nice. I had a busy day at work. That causes a little wrist strain for me, so this is a nice alternative. If you have 2 blocks, another wonderful alternative would be to take your hands and drape them over the blocks like this. Produces a lot less wrist strain. So coming to quadruped, let's go through cat-cow. Let's flow through it today. Just exhale through into your cat, pushing through the floor, and then flowing into cow, going right to it. Scoop, round, pushing the mat away, and scoop. Try to make this a big U, not a V. A V would be just dipping the lower back and getting a little pinchy in the low back. Make the low back long, but scoop. Open the chest, flare the ribs, pull the sternum through the shoulders. One more time. Good. Come back to neutral. Good. So just shorten the distance between our hip and our rib, looking over our shoulder. And other side. Just shorten the distance between our hips and our rib. Sit back into diamond, and then just kick our feet out under us and have a seat. Have your block and strap handy. I always like to keep them close by, so I'm just going to put them up by where my head would be, so that way I have them for quick reference. As we're sitting here in boat pose, I'd like for us to gently hold underneath our knees as we ease ourselves back. Just till we're on the top of our sit bones, we can feel that little flat spot on our gluteals that we can perch on. Our toes are just barely here. We're not rounded, but I'm not sticking my belly through. Scoop out through the belly, but let your sternum be lifted to your nose. Good. Easing back, let the feet float from the floor. This is a wonderful starting position for our boat pose. Our bellies are active, shoulders are relaxed out of our ears, sternum lifted to our nose, our shoulder blades are pulled down into our imaginary pockets. At this point, feel free to let go of one hand. Breathe. And return on the other. If this sensation is not the challenge you are looking for, feel free to take both arms off. Take 3 breaths. Check yourself. Place the hands back underneath your knees. Me, for my strength right now, this is good. This is a nice challenge. Just a breath and alternate. Scooping out through the abdominals. Relax the shoulders. Relax all that tension. Tension here, not here. Okay. Leg muscles gently hugging the bone. Keep going. Maybe you hold them out for 3 breaths and then support for 3 breaths. Maybe you hold out for 3 breaths. Maybe a gentle support 1 breath. Maybe you're still here with me with a gentle, slow, alternating support. Let's do 2 more switches. This is about endurance. 1 more switch. There we go. Let the feet creep down, draping ourselves over our knees. Sometimes we go through boat pose really, really quick. I wanted to hold that a little bit today, give us a challenge, and we'll shake it out. We're going to do another boat pose series. This time, it's going to be more of a dynamic work. We're going to uncurl and curl up and down, okay? Hands gently behind the knees, or feel free to extend them. We'll let you have either way. Inhaling. As we exhale, uncurl the spine just till it gets to the top of our hip bones. Inhale. Exhale, using our belly muscles. Let's pull ourselves back up. Inhale. And exhale, uncurl down 1 vertebrae at a time till the tops of the hips touch. Pause for breath. And exhale, curling back up. Again, inhale. And exhale, uncurling down. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more times. Inhaling. And exhale, uncurl. Inhale. And exhale, curl up. Again, noticing that pause at the bottom. It's a deliberate pause. Helping to build endurance, embracing within our belly muscles. Relax the low back. And curl. 1 more time, just draping our chest over our legs. And 1 more little stretch. Our feet are in our legs are in a perfect position. Just do butterfly opening. Allow the soles of our feet together. It's a very large diamond. Let's grab our blocks, put it right by the heels, and just stack your fists if you need to. Drape over and just allow your forehead to rest on your fists. If you have the flexibility, you may take your fists away and just rest your forehead on the block. Maybe you have the mobility and you could bring the block flat and bring your forehead towards your feet. Me, I have to stack. I'd like this to be totally passive. We're not supporting our weight up, so stack those fists. Maybe grab another pillow if you need to make it even bigger, so that way you're in a very passive stretch for that low back. Let's just take a moment and breathe. Discover how this feels. Feel the tension loosen as we're able to melt a little bit more in a forward fold. Beautiful job. Let's raise ourselves out of that forward fold in our diamond here. Let's tuck our legs underneath, preparing to come to standing. Let's come into a low Hindu squat. Feel free to stagger your feet if you need to for balance as we bring our shoulders over hips, over heels, bracing on our core, hugging thigh muscles to the bone as we lift. Snap, crackle, pop, and lower down. Such as my knees and hips. They get a little snap. Let's come back to standing in the middle of our mat as we prepare for some challenges now. Gently hop or step your feet 3.5 feet apart, roughly. Again, don't need to get out, take measures, just a nice rough guess. So we're not like super out here, but we're not like right here, just generously wide. Let's turn our right toes out fully. Our left toes turn in slightly. Good. Preparing for triangle poses, bring our arms up. Inhale, reach out, drop the right hip, lifting our left hip and pushing the left hip up and out. Let's allow our hands to come inside of our thighs as we stack our shoulders. The hands stacked one on top of the other. Open up like a book. Good. Now extending our right arm out. Let's bring the left arm to meet it. Reach. Now using our strength, let's lift up. Both toes turn to the corners. So we come into a forward fold. Allowing the fingertips to touch the floor, and if they don't quite touch, don't worry. Feel free to rest your arms in waterfall. Rotate the heels outward, allowing ourselves to fold a little bit deeper. Good. Exhale, forward fold. Let's inhale, rotate the heels in, soft knees. So we raise up. And arms come to a letter T as we rotate our left toes out fully, our right toes in slightly. Triangle pose. Let's reach out, pushing the right hip out, dropping our left hip down. Hand comes inside the thigh. Other hand stacked right on top. Open up the chest. Good. Let's extend our left arm out and bring our right arm over our ear. Strong legs as we reach out like we're trying to grab a ball. And now hugging thigh muscles to the bone, pushing through the floor, lifting up. And let's turn both toes out. Forward fold. Hands come to the floor, or feel free to rest in waterfall as we turn our heels in, turn our heels outward, our toes in, allowing us to fold a little deeper. Thigh muscles hug the bone. Our upper body's relaxed. Breathe. Good. Let's rotate those heels back in. Reversing our forward fold. And one more time. Let's come to triangle on the right side. Right toes turn out. Left toes turn in. Reach, pushing the hips up and out, dropping that right hip. Good. Now let's bring a bend into our right knee. We can sink a little bit deeper. And now as we press out, we're in a little bit of a deeper triangle. Notice the straight spine. I'm not rounding. I'm not collapsing. Breathe. Inhale, triangle. Exhale, pressing through to lift. Reverse warrior. Bringing a bend into our right knee as we lift and lengthen our ribs. Breathe. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale one more time into triangle pose. Breathe. Inhale and exhale as we lift out and changing sides. Give those arms a break, bringing them hands to heart center as we rotate our feet. Inhale, triangle, reach, reach, reach. And exhale, breathe. The gaze may be up at the hand, it can be forward. Try not to look too down because then we start rotating. Keep the chest open. Beautiful. Let's add a little movement to this, bringing a bend into our left knee. And if you want, wiggle that right leg back, sinking the hips closer to the ground. As we come back into a straight-legged triangle, is a little deeper. a little bit more of a challenge. Breathe. Exhale, triangle. Inhale to prepare for reverse warrior. And exhale. Scoop through. Breathe. Inhale. And one more time, exhaling into our triangle pose. Drop the ribs down. Try not to let the ribs lift. Hold the ribs down. Breathe. Inhale. And legs squeezing. Lift up. Toes forward. Forward fold. Feel free to rotate the heels outward, allowing us to fold a little deeper. Shake the head side to side as if saying no, and nod as if saying yes. Good. Let's turn our toes outward, heels come in as we reverse our forward fold, drawing through the middle. Good. And releasing down. Go ahead and toe heel in a little bit. Stepping together, shake it out. Come back to mountain pose for just a brief moment. Good. As we prepare for a pyramid, facing the side, I'm just going to take the leg closest to us and step back about a foot, foot and a half apart. Hips are squared, fingertips lace behind our back. If you cannot grab your fingertips, that's okay. Feel free just to reach the hands back. Pretend like you're hugging a ball between your hands. The idea of that is that we don't let our shoulders round as we hinge forward. So from here, oh, and please note my feet are a little bit apart. Helps with balance, so we don't feel like we're going to tip over. And hinging at our hip joint. Straight legs. Hinging till we feel that delicious tension on the back side of the front leg, the leg that's in the forward position compared to the back. And again, see, I'm not rounding. Breathe. Again, if you can't lace your fingers, hug that ball. Our big toe is buried in the ground. Our heel is pushing through the ground. Toes spread apart, and that delicious stretch down the back side of this leg. Good. Lifting out. Good. Lift up, big stretch. Open up the chest. And one more time. Pyramid. Hinge. Try not to load into your low back. Brace in your belly like you're cinching up a belt, and let it crisscross like you got straps coming over your shoulder. So it's your lower belly and your mid and your upper back that are the big, big squeezers right here. Squeeze that ball. Pretend like you have two Nerf balls under your armpits and give them a squeeze. Breathe. So we don't feel the load in our low back. Wonderful. Pressing through the floor to lift. Changing legs. Pyramid. Feet. Foot, foot and a half feet apart. Grab that ball or lacing the fingertips. Inhale, open up the chest. As we exhale, we're hinging in our hips. So we feel that delicious tension. Here to here. Again, Try not to drape over. We have lost all tension. We feel nothing here, but we feel a little bit of tenderness in our knee because the knee is being loaded. Feel free to keep your lift here. You can support it high in your thigh. If you can't quite do this and it does not feel right, grab a chair, sneak over to a wall. Let the wall be your support. Good. Let's press out. Lift up, open up. Open that chest. Floating our arms down. And coming into a fold. Right back to pyramid. Breathe. Flat back. Again, if all you feel is lower back, use that wall. Let that wall help you. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, press through, lift. Good. And release it. We're going to use that pyramid now. Feel free to have a block handy. Inhaling as we lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway up. Exhale as we fold. This time stepping the leg closest to each other back and scooping into warrior three. Breathe. From warrior three, press the legs straight. Pyramid. This is a wider stance. Back out of pyramid. And warrior three. Hugging our thigh muscles to the bone. Breathe. Press, lift. Legs straight. Pushing through the front leg. Lift. Squeezing the thigh muscles to the bone. Modifying that warrior three. This back leg does not bend. It is straight and strong. Hug your gluteus, hug your thigh muscles. And one last time. Pyramid. This is elongated pyramid. Coming into a forward fold. Press out of that fold. And hands returns to heart center. Same thing, other side. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, fold. The block is here if I need it. Stepping into a modified warrior three. Woohoo! There goes my balance. The leg is straight. My feet are apart, so I feel balance. Now extend, hinge, pyramid. This is an elongated pyramid. Movement challenges us for balance. So all those muscles need to hug it into our spine. All those muscles need to hug our leg bones. Lift the pelvic floor up. Oop, I bent my knee. Keep that back leg straight. And one more time. Pyramid. That pyramid is modified with the heel lifted. Warrior three. So we lift up. Coming into a forward fold. Pressing out. hands to heart center. Good. Let's have a seat on our blocks. I'm going to grab a quick sip of water. Excuse me for just a moment. And let's have a seat. So sitting on our blocks comfortably. Heel lined up with the other heel, if that feels good for you. If you're more of a crisscross applesauce and the heel's out, because maybe the hips are a little bit tight and sore, or it's not kind to your knees. Maybe you've had knee joint replacement. You know what you can do safely. Please embrace what's best for you. Maybe you can sit in lotus. I know when I team teach with Robin, she can actually get into lotus very easily, and she can actually do it without the aid of her blocks. If you're like me, my hips are tight. My knees are higher than my hips when I don't have a block to sit on. So, like I said, you don't have to practice yoga, or you don't have to be flexible to practice yoga. Yoga gets you flexible. Yoga gets you to the point where things are stretched and they feel good. So don't ever think, oh, I can't do yoga. Yes, you can. We're doing it right now together. I'm doing it. And I'm not very flexible, but I absolutely enjoy it. Let's find ourselves in a comfortable, easy seated position. Okay? Hands may be in our laps. Hands may be resting at our knee. The touch points is just to finish a connection. It feels comfortable for me just to let my fingers and thumbs touch. There can be different feelings from different fingertips, but I don't get too deep into that. I just do what feels good. I'm sitting here, allowing my hips to open, allowing gravity to pull my knees down. Feels wonderful. Allow gravity to be heavy in your elbows, pulling the elbows down, pulling your shoulders away from your ears. Don't let gravity be heavy on your chest though. Let your chest be lighter than air, allowing the sternum to lift towards your chin. Good. Belly muscles are gently active. Sternum is gently lifted. Our shoulders are back and just settle down nice and easy. Breathe. Allow gravity to pull what needs to be pulled and float what needs to float. Coming to easy seated twist to our right. Allow your right thumb to be next to your hip or resting on your block. Left hand to the outside of our right knee, inhaling. And as we exhale, let's rotate the lower portion of our back. Pause right here. Now, take your shoulders. So rotate the shoulders a little bit more. Pause. And then finally, our gaze turns. Let's wring out that spine like we wring out a towel. Think of the spine like a spiral staircase, twisting, lifting upwards, not collapsing, not leaning to the left or leaning backwards. Give all those internal organs a good squeeze, hug, twist. Inhaling. And as we exhale, let's release that rotation and come back to center. Same thing, other side. Left elbow next to the ribs, thumbs by the block or resting on the floor. Inhaling, starting with our low back, rotate. Pausing. Now bring the shoulders around a little bit more. Pause. And finally, our gaze. Try not to lean back If one hand doesn't really want to touch the floor, it's okay to let it float in space. The side for me is a little tighter. The shoulder's always bunched up, so this finger doesn't always graze the floor. And it is better to keep a good alignment than it is to try and bring that hand to the floor. Breathe. Good rotation. Exhale, seated twist. And inhale. Exhale, release, shake it out. Let's swap what foot is in front. Yay! Seriously, there are some mornings where I get midway switching feet and then I lose track and go, which foot did I have in front? Yes, I have those kind of days. Beautiful, easy seated position. Again, settle into it. Allow gravity to pull the knees down. Allow a balloon to lift your sternum. Let's come to rotation to our right. Inhale. And as we exhale, the lower back rotates. Shoulders. And finally our head. We let it drift around. Wringing out that spine like we're wringing out a towel. Breathe. Inhaling and exhale, releasing as we change sides. Inhale and exhale, lower back, shoulders, and finally our head. Inhale, seated twist, and exhale. Good. Let's come off of our blocks. Have a seat. And coming to the length of our mat. As we uncurl all the way down. Do one more for the hips. As we bring our legs in, stick one ankle on top of the knee. Feel free to reach through, grab, pulling the knee to the chest, or support like I do. Gentle rock side to side. Breathe. Feeling the tension blossom within our hips. If you can do this, and you don't feel that sensation, your mobility is wonderful, feel free to try taking the foot, cradling it in your elbow. Knee cradled in on your elbow. I know this is a very awkward looking one for me. And then extend your leg. Again, that foot needs to be cradled in the elbow. Me, this is what works for me. I can always bring my foot down like this. The closer we can bring our foot towards our shoulder and the knee away from us, the more we're going to feel that stretch. So try not to pull the knee in, more about drawing that foot in, but don't crank on it, don't force it. What feels good for you? Let's release. Take both legs out, shake them out. We'll do the same thing on our other side. Ankle on top of our knee. Feel free to reach through the grab or support. Woo. You can definitely feel that. Let's rock side to side gently. And again, if this sensation isn't enough for you, you need a different challenge. You don't feel anything. Me, I feel wonderful stretch. This is perfect for me. I love it. But maybe you need to bring your foot into the crook of your elbow and extend the leg down. Maybe that's what works for you. This is another challenge. Let's go ahead and release downwards. Untangle those legs, stretch them out. Go ahead and wiggle them out. Let's lift our shoulders, lift our hips, realign our spine. Get comfortable for our final relaxation. As our palms lay down by our sides, feet comfortable distance apart, arms comfortable distance from our body. As we bring our focus to our breathing, as we inhale fully, and exhale fully, feeling our belly raise and expand. Inhaling and exhale. Let the heat of our breath build within our core. Let that heat soften our facial muscles, our belly muscles. Our chest gets softer. Let that softness radiate out through the arms and legs, our fingertips and our toes. Just allowing ourselves with each breath to melt into our floor. Let's wiggle our fingertips and our toes, making them a little bigger each time. Bring our soles of our feet together, our hands together, gently rubbing. Let's shield our eyes with our hands as we open up our eyes. Take a big stretch. I know my arms are out of frame. Let's stretch. Thumbs pointing to the floor, toes pointed. And then drawing in, and rocking and rolling to seated. Joining me in Namaste if you so choose. Namaste. Enjoy your day. I hope this was a great way to start it, or maybe a nice way to finish it. Again, if you do enjoy this, give a thumbs up. This was a downward dog free class, and I'll make sure to let my brother know about that, because he always loved coming to class whenever I was not going to do a downward facing dog. So hopefully it was a little kinder to those shoulders today if they're a little sore. Hope you have a great day. Thank you.